let's continue about your journey and tell us about your, not exactly your childhood, but what you have been passing through, especially regarding the multicultural roots and regarding also your father and grandfather that came from Italy.
Well, they didn't come from Italy. They came from Libya.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So let me try multicultural. Let me give you an idea of what our family was like. My grandmother Esther Dassa, who married my grandfather Alberto Berebi, her family came from Morocco, probably a little earlier than 1820. So they were there for a very, very long time. Uh, my grandfather, Alberto, came from Tripoli, Libya in 1920. His father was a judge, the first Jewish judge in the Italian colonial court, and had a landmark case in Italy about whether a native born Jew in Libya can be an impartial judge in the Libyan Italian court. I'm just going to remind people Italy invaded Libya in 1911 in a very soft kind of invasion. And the country, and most Jews spoke Italian. My other grandparents left Spain in 1492, in August of 1492, of a town called Tarazana in the northern part of Spain. Went to Genoa, then went to Chanacali. And in 1920s, due to now the conscription, possible conscription of the Republic of Turkey. Prior to that, Jews were not put into the army, Turkish army, because that was a caliphate that was the defender of the faith. A lot of them came to Alexandria. So then my grandfather and married my grandmother. They spoke Spanish, Ladino, fairly regularly. So I had a household where we all spoke French and Arabic. But in one set of grandparents, it was Italian. The other set of grandparents, it was Spanish. I would answer in French and Arabic. So that kind of multicultural world was normal. My grandfather, as I was telling you off the recording, in 1917, or when he was 17 years old, went to war for a country that he never set a foot in, Italy. Lost a brother at that war, and was fiercely Italian nationalistic until Mussolini put in the anti-Jewish laws, and he went down to the embassy and renounced his citizenship. And after the war, went to try to get it back. Okay. My great-grandmother, Helen Rodriguez, was born in Livorno, Italy. So we were, a family kind of reflective of what Alexandria was at a time. A lot of language, and that was normal. See, that may not be normal if you were living in Pakistan. Okay, that may not have been normal if you were living in Serbia, but it was normal in Alexandria. And I don't think people can come, kind of take a look, which the Egyptian government tried to do, and say, aha, you were an alien people. You didn't belong here. You were not Egyptian. Well, my parents were born there. Some of my grandparents were born there. How could you not call us Egyptian? But they did. And that was part of the problem. That's happening now, frankly, all over the world. A person can be born there, but because they're Muslim, or their parents are I don't, from Yugoslavia, that somehow they're not pure. I think, except for the United States, I really do. That's one of the great beauties here. You can be both things at the same time.
That's fantastic. Very, very good to hear about this. But there is something I would like to add. When we are talking about Alexandria, Alexandria was always multicultural. It was maybe everything started with the Jews, the relation between the Jews and the Roman and so on. The story about Alexandria is rather different than the story about the rest of Egypt. I don't know if you agree with me, because if they say that you are not a real Egyptian by being Alexandrian, it's not 100% true, in my understanding, if we go through history.
Well, the Karaites, which are the Jewish sect,
Yes.
rabbinical that were in Cairo, spoke only Arabic, have been there for millenniums, but still not looked as Egyptian. There are famous musicians, which I'm sorry, the name escaped me now, that were not given jobs in various places because there were still Jews outside of it, and those people also had to leave Egypt. So, the definition has to be somewhat that Alexandria was different from Tata or Cairo. Yes, it was. But we were all Jewish first to Egypt. And therefore, by definition, not children of the soil.